family, welcome to my channel, Ghana in Canada. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So this channel basically focuses on you coming to Canada as an international student. It goes through the process, like we'll be focusing on going through what you need to do to come to Canada, and once you get to Canada, the things you need to do in order to survive. So specifically today we'll be talking about your school application, the school you intend applying to, supposing you need financial support from the schools, what you need to do in order to get them. And secondly, we are based in Ontario, and most of us are in McMaster University, so probably what I might say might not be applied to your school of choice. But then don't worry, we are all in Canada, so probably you might get something from us. Please don't forget to leave questions in the comments box. We'll also leave our emails in the description box in case you want to contact us. Yeah, that's it. So I'll leave it to my friends here to introduce themselves. So we'll start from our right.
Hi, my name is Eunice Ajay. I'm a Ghanaian Canadian.
Yeah, Ghanaian Canadian.
I'll next. So my name is Nicole Ajay. I am also a Ghanaian Canadian. Question mark? I was born in Italy, but I grew up in Canada, and my parents are from Ghana. So I've definitely come to learn the traditions.
Oh, and I am Gifty. I arrived in Canada not long ago. I'm a student here, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Nyako. I'm also a student. Yeah, I came to Canada about a year ago, and yeah.
Alex,
Yeah, my name is Alex. I'm a student at McMaster. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so today we'll be specifically talking about the ways, as I've said earlier, the schools you want to apply to, and there are sometimes we will need financial support from the schools. The other times our families are also financially stable to support us, and other times we also need the government to support us. So amongst our ideas, we have those that are financially supported by the school, and we also have those that are financially supported by their parents. And let us know your source of funding, so that the viewers will be able to identify themselves in this conversation. And so we'll start from Alex.
Hi. So, as I rightly said, my name is Alex. Basically, I am funded by McMaster University, School of Graduate Studies, and the Department of Economics, and also my professor, because I'm also a researcher. And the fourth source of funding is from my graduate student assistantship. Yes. So, and I also get some other surpluses. Okay, by virtue of probably maybe applying for some internal fundings. Okay, based on your grades. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, yeah. As I said before, I'm Andrew. Yeah. So my parents are living abroad, so currently they fund everything. So yeah, for the school and everything, for rent as well. But once in a while, because I'm working, I try to cover my own rents once in a while. So for the school part, it's for my parents, and rent and other things, it's myself. Yeah.
Okay. I'm also at McMaster University, doing my master's degree in economics, health economics to be specific. I'm partially funded by the school. I don't know, Alex, are you fully funded by the school or partially funded by the school?
I'm fully
Funded by the school. Okay. So Nicole.
So for anyone who's a Canadian citizen or any descent, so which is what I would be. Because I'm a citizen, I was able to fund my schooling through something called OSAP, which is through the government of Canada, but it is only available to Canadian citizens. So for those who do end up coming and transition into a Canadian citizen, that is available for you. So that's what I used when I went to McMaster as well.
I'm just like Nicole. My name is Eunice again. I was born here, but then I wasn't raised here. So when I finished university in Ghana, and then I came here, but I had to be in Ontario for at least a year to work and then pay taxes, so that I could qualify for the same OSAP for funding for school. So I also got funding through the Canadian government, but using OSAP, yeah, just because I was a citizen here.
Oh, thank you so much. And so, amongst all of us here, what do we consider as the most important aspect of the school's application? When you're applying to school, what do you think is the most important thing one has to do?
As an international student?
Yeah, as an international student or as a Canadian citizen. So, like from your side, what is the most important thing?
I think for an international student applying to come to university here, there's two applications that I would say are important. Of course, the application to the school, as well as your visa and study permit application. Prior to your visa and study permit application, you of course have to apply to the school. So importance of that would be your grades. If you're doing a graduate level, it'd be your letter of intent, your background in research. And then when it comes to the visa application, the important part I would consider is how you're going to be funded. So whether it's one of the ways that we said, whether your parents are funding you, the government, any sort of applications with scholarships, bursaries, grants, I think those are the two that hold the most importance.
Okay. Andrew, what about you?
I think you have to look at the program you're doing. Yeah, the program is important. So something like medicine, you'll need like a different, how do I say, not like a different like funding level or something, you know, because the pricing may be different and all that. So you have to look at the program. Various programs have like different, you know, needs that you have to look at. Yeah.
What about you, Alex? What do you think is important?
I mean, for me, I think you have to just focus on your research area. Okay, so for example, I came in as a mathematician. I did my master's in mathematics. So I mean, back in the University of Ghana, my final year project was on a functional analysis related field. Okay, so I fell in love with that, and then I applied to McMaster University, but then based on they having a resource personnel who is well grounded in functional analysis. So I think, I mean, the research interest is also very important. Okay, not just the program. The research interest is also very important, and of course your grades. Okay, so I mean, just have to look at the minimum requirements. There are minimum requirements for just entry level. Okay, but then for scholarship level, there's also a minimum requirement for that. Okay, so I mean, the grades, I think for Canadian schools, the grades form a much or a larger what's the name section, okay, of probability of you getting into the Canadian schools. Okay, so
Yeah, so Alex, if I get your first point right, you basically saying you should find a supervisor who is willing to work with you in order to get admission.
Of course, yes. Finding a research interest is just analogous to find a supervisor. Okay, so finding a potential or a proposed supervisor is really a key thing. Okay? I mean, I applied to 4 schools, and by the grace of God, I got 3 of them. Okay, so and all of them I think I'd spoken with almost all the professors. Yes, okay, as in my proposed supervisor. So I mean, I knew I was going to get into it before I applied. Okay, so I mean that's a good thing. Okay.
So did all the professors respond to your email?
Yes, I was lucky. I mean, all of them responded. In fact, I don't know, but people complain I don't respond. But I think it's how you construct the email. Okay, it shouldn't be bulky. Okay, just go straight to the point. It shouldn't be bulky. Okay, you spell out your name, your intent, and then what you can do. Okay, your intent and probably and maybe you should attach your not necessarily your resume. Okay, probably should attach your transcript and then a research paper if you have one. Okay, so I think the transcript and then research paper is really important. Okay, not really about CV because you're not applying for jobs, right? So yeah.
So does the same apply to the Canadian citizens? Like, do you also contact proposed supervisors in order to get admission?
Is this for undergrad or graduate?
Graduates or undergrad?
For undergrad, because the system is so sort of seamless from high school, it's just whatever your exam marks are from high school, it goes straight to the university. When it comes to graduate level, if you're doing a master's, you do have to do something similar to what Alex said, is having your letter of intent. It does really help to contact the professor that you're interested in to do research with. So for me, when I did my master's, I was interested in the immigration of second generation immigrants in Canada. So I looked at the directory of the professors at the school, and I found professors who had that interest.
Exactly.
And then you reach out to them, letting them know a little bit about yourself, and explaining how you can also impact their own research. You sort of have to show how you're going to be an asset. Basically, you're selling yourself. You're showing how you're going to be useful to them, and that helps to get into the program.
Okay.
So my situation is a little different from Alex and Nicole's own. In the with respect to before coming to Canada, I was also trying to apply from schools from Ghana, but we realized that the fund, it was going to be a lot of money, especially having my parents to support me here. So that's when we decided for me to come here first and then just figure out. But then I also applied for some schools, but those were not at the graduate level, because I was told that there were other programs you could do besides going to do your masters. You could do some diploma programs at the colleges. A lot of people don't regard college programs, but here it's like a key component in your education.
Practical skills.
Because you still find some people for some programs who go and do their masters even here, and they come back to the college level. I think that's what you would refer to as HND, sort of, in Ghana.
HND.
Yeah, you would come back to the college level to just get the practical aspect of it. And so currently that's what I have done, and I'm now trying to work my way up from there. So there are other options of coming to school here besides the masters. I mean, if you're able to get into the masters program, hallelujah. I couldn't get into it. So but you should also consider other options.
Like school application processes and the visa application process. Which aspect, like which specific aspect do you find it tedious? Is it like finding the school itself, or the program you intend to do in the school?
I think technically it will be finding the program to do in the school, because I think once you get that, like the visa will be like pretty straightforward. Like as long as you can show that you have a school, like the school has accepted you, then you can show like proof of funds and then all that, your accommodation, all that. I think once you get all that, the visa application should be easy. So
Again, Nico,
for me, I think that's it.
Thank you. Nico, I know you didn't have to apply for visa, but for the school, like what did you find the most tedious?
When I was looking to apply to a university, I think tuition played a big role into how much I was going to pay. So that when I was comparing the schools, I looked at that. But also the location to where I live. Hamilton is where McMaster is, which is where we all are right now. So that meant that I didn't have to pay additional fees to where I was going to live. I could stay at home and go to the school. And of course, the program that we're going to do.
Is it important to reach out to students in the school? Like, do you guys think it's important to reach out to students in the school?
I think so. I think that from some of the people that I know, especially with regards to masters or even any other program, if you are, let's say Alex, let's say if I was in Ghana and I knew Alex, and I wanted to get into maybe a similar program that he's doing. Maybe probably if I reach out to him, he'll probably be able to walk me through some of the steps. Maybe he can't give me everything, but he can sort of, give me an idea or some of the, or pointers as to how to go
I
about
think
that.
that's a
And
good
did
point.
you also reach out to people in the school?
No, actually no. We did all our search online. So we just looked online at the various departments, and we looked at what course I wanted to do and all that. So at that time I didn't know anyone from the school yet, but yeah, after I came, then I started reaching out to people and connecting. Yeah.
I personally reached out to someone in the school who was also in the same program, and fortunately for me, the department was also looking for someone with a statistics background, so I happened to apply for it and I got it. So I think reaching out to someone in the school in the same department is will be a good plus for you, because he or she is in the department and he or she knows what is happening at the moment. So at least you might get some tips from the person. Yeah. In selecting, okay, so does the program, the course you want to do, does it affect your choice of schools? Does it influence on the schools you choose to apply to? Maybe you want to do engineering, do you just apply to any school?
I think it definitely does, especially here in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. If you're looking at a business school, most students would look at Toronto. If you're looking at a school within health and sciences and medicine, McMaster is usually the school. So some schools have different reputations. That's not to say that some are lesser than, but some schools do have reputations. Just like in Ghana, some schools would have a reputation for a certain background of study. The same would be here. So it's really important, as Andrew said, to do your research about the program that you want to go into. Reach out to professors, reach out to students. It might seem kind of awkward in the beginning, but it is really beneficial because it helps you to get more of an
influence the selection process. How true is it? Is it for a particular course, or is it for all programs? Do grades really matter for all programs?
It depends on which program you're applying to. When you're coming into the university, there are certain required courses that you should have done that would reflect what your mark is and what your specialty will be. So for instance, you guys that came in with the statistics background, they're going to look at your marks within those courses. Whereas maybe if you took a class in what are some electives that you took in university, maybe an English course or a history course or something, may not weigh as high, but marks definitely count. There are always thresholds and ranges that universities look at. So for instance, a faculty might look for students between percentages of 75 to 85. I know in Ghana it's a bit different. There's second class upper and first class and all of that. So whatever that translates to the school, that's the range that they look for. And then within that pool, they also look for the top within those numbers and fulfill the number of students that they need. Because each faculty, each department, each area has a certain amount of students that they can admit into the program. So it does play a role, and it is important to know how your grades translate into the Canadian grading system. So I don't know if you know what your second class upper or first class upper translates into the Canadian aspect, but it's important to know what that looks like, because when you're looking at the website, it's going to say a minimum grade point average of this, and that looks different.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, so the course I'm doing, the accounting course, it's not really pure undergrad. It's sort of a diploma, kind of. Yeah. So that one didn't really they didn't really look too much at my grades before applying. So as long as you meet certain requirements,
The minimum requirement.
yeah, sort of you need to have not really a background in business, but you have to have accounting, experience, a little experience and all that for the course. So yeah, I had that. So with that, I was able to apply for the course. So then at the end of the period, then I'll be done with it.
So did you have to convert your transcript to the Canadian system?
For that one, no, I didn't.
You
No, I
didn't?
didn't. It was like pretty straightforward almost. Yeah.
I did.
You did. You had to.
I had to. So when I got here and I was trying to apply for school, they said I had to translate into the Canadian system. So I think there's this organization. It's called World Educational Service. There are other ones too, but I know WES is like one of the accredited ones. So when you translate it into the Canadian system, then it will, sometimes I think I got lucky. There, my GPA that I had over there, because Ghana, I went to Central University, so the courses we did, we had way too many courses for the undergrad. So coming here, they looked at it as like, it's sort of, I went a bit higher with my GPA. I don't know if it was because I did like extra, because here most of the university like 120 credits. What I did was 140. Yeah, so at least I got that buffer with that extra credit that I had from Ghana. So it helps. At least with that you were able to get some upper hand. Yeah.
So can I? Yeah. No. So in my case, I came like straight from high school, so I don't really have the problem with like looking at the GPA and all that in order to like
Did you have to write any English test, any test to get admitted?
IELTS? No, I didn't have to write IELTS, but no, actually I didn't. No.
Yeah, is it actually required of us to write any English test to be admitted?
So me again. So I recently tried applying for a program with one of the universities, and although I had been here and I had done my college program, they said that I needed my IELTS because my degree was coming from Ghana. And although I said I was coming from an English-speaking country, they said it wasn't enough. They needed to test it themselves. So I had to, study the IELTS, and it takes a while. And luckily, I was able to pass. At least I was on the threshold of the mark. But I think not just for IELTS, but I think for those who want to do the master SATs, there's the SAT, and then those who also want to do the MBAs, the GMAT, and then you have the GREs. Yeah, there's also that requirement.
Alex, did you write any test?
No, I didn't.
So was it required of you to submit a test?
No.
It wasn't required. Okay, so I also applied to some schools which they required an English test, but in Ghana we are being taught in English, so you just have to go to a language center. University of Ghana, we have the language center, the language department. Is it language department? Yeah, I think it's language center. Yes, you have to go there, and they're going to give you a letter to state that you were being taught in English, so you are fluent in it, blah blah blah. So you use that letter in applying. So you don't really have to write any TOEFL or anything, because even for some schools on their website, they write like you have to submit your TOEFL results, but there are some countries that have been exempted from it. I've seen it in some of the websites. Yes. So you will see Ghana as part of those countries. You don't have to write any TOEFL. It might be different for US, because US you have to write GRE, but here in Canada, most schools do not require English test. Even if they require, it will be TOEFL or IELTS. So you can decide to write it, or you can go to the language center at your institution. So you could use that one. In order for you to get a graduate assistantship, did you have to apply for it?
No. It's automatic. Okay, so once I met the minimum requirements, I was given a scholarship. I didn't have to apply for any scholarship. No.
So are you trying to say that anyone that meets the minimum requirements is going to get a scholarship?
You should be above the minimum requirements. I can assure you.
Yeah.
I think it's also program specific.
Yes. This is for mathematics. Okay, so for mathematics, yeah. And I think it also applies to some of the sciences. Okay. Yes. So, yep.
Yeah, it's typically a bit difficult with the humanities. If you are doing
Social
a
science.
social science, but it's not it's not impossible. Just that maybe you might not get as much funding as Alex did.
So I know there could be Canadian citizens in Ghana who would want to study here in Canada. So like Nicole, could you please take us through the OSAP steps? I know you said you applied through OSAP to be funded. Like other tips like you could give to us?
So OSAP is based on your parents' income if you are below 18, because the legal age of an adult in Canada is 18. So if you're younger than 18, it's based on how much money your parents make, and they will calculate how much they will give you. So in most circumstances, you will get the funding year by year because you apply each year you're in the school for your entire tuition. After that, so if you're above the age of 18 and by then you start your master's and you apply for OSAP, they then base the amount of funding on your own income. So if you're not working, you're more than likely to get more than what your tuition is, but if you are, you may get less, because it all depends on the income that you make and then what they are willing to give out for your tuition to be paid. And you have up until, I believe it's 6 months now after you've graduated your school to start paying back the OSAP. So the funding is not just free funding. You do have to pay it back, and there is interest on top of it. They give you 6 months in between because that is the time that you should be able to look for a job or settle with a job. So yeah, that's pretty much the OSAP. You apply online. It's based on income. It's a pretty quick application to do, and it goes straight to the university. You don't actually get that money. It goes straight to the school.
So Alex, you are funded by the by McMaster. Are you required to pay your funds? Are you required to pay back?
Pay back what?
I think so scholarship,
The
right?
scholarship,
So scholarships
yes.
you don't pay back.
Of course,
but-
no. I mean,
Oh,
it's by merit, right?
Yeah.
I got it because I deserve it, so it's not like I have to pay back.
Alex. No, so I can say we don't deserve.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking for myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
you worked for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the case of OSAP, it's government assistance.
Yes.
So they're helping you to pay off, and the idea is that they help you to pay to go to do your schooling so you can graduate, get a job, and then pay them back.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're lucky, you get grants.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're getting a loan of 10,000, you can get maybe 2,000 as grant, so you don't have to pay that
Pay that
2,000
back,
back.
Eunice, I know you were based in Ghana and you came here. In finding a school, was it difficult?
It wasn't difficult. It was just like Andrew said. It was more of the program, finding a program, and then finding a program and also finding the schools. Initially, I applied when I was in Ghana. I applied for some schools in BC, in British Columbia, and I got in. But it was also hard. I also had to do the emailing, trying to connect with them, so we can move from there. But coming here, I think my challenge was more of trying to find a program that when I finished school, I could actually get a job in, because it's easy to apply for anything. So far as it's not statistics or medicine, easy to apply for anything. But then sometimes you apply for the program, you're done school, and you are looking for a job, and it's a headache. So I think it was more of me trying to do my investigation to find out, okay, what are some of the fields I'm interested in, and will it be able to pay as much or something? Yeah.
And did you ever consider applying?
For the funding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Scholarship.
Yeah. But then once I saw like the procedure and all that, I was,
No,
I think I'll be better,
you saw the procedure and you're like, you do
Too much
chicken
work.
out. Too much work.
a bit. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let me just do it, the usual way.
Okay. When should the school's application itself be sent? When do you think is the best time for you to send in the application?
So yes, possible.
Yeah.
As early as
And by
possible.
the due date,
Yeah.
usually you have to start applying by December. It depends on when your semester starts,
Yeah.
right? So if it's a program that starts in September, the applications will usually open December, January, and then you hear back in May, so you can go for September.
you have to apply to the schools as early as possible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else we missed in your application process? What do you think we missed? Or do you, so if we can't,
How about the documents to attach?
the
Like the documents in addition to like the visa, like not to apply for the visa. Sorry. Yeah.
no. So right now we are focusing on the school's applications.
Oh,
Is there anything we missed?
No, I think covered it all.
We covered it all.
I think the location of the school. There's a lot of times students or just whoever hears about a school and they don't know exactly where it is. For instance, Trent University.
Yeah.
Or
Where is that, right? And that's so it's very far from like urban areas, right? I think Trent. I don't even know where. Yeah, Oshawa is very
past Oshawa,
Five
yeah.
hours.
right.
Yeah,
Or
something.
there's another school in Sudbury. Sudbury's very cold.
yeah.
So it's like to know the location of the school that you're applying to. Usually, people will look at schools that are in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. There are a lot of people there. I know a lot of students. If you're coming from Ghana, you would want to be around other Ghanaian people or other African people. Toronto is definitely an area like that because it helps with that transition. Once you get to the airport, you're on your own. So you want to know that you can have some community with you. And it's nice, like you said, when you start looking to reach out to other students, you can sort of see what communities are already there compared to some that are all the way up north in Canada, where there's not many Black people or there's not many African people. Because that really impacts when you come to school, right?
And also cost of living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you might initially I was going to go to British Columbia, and you look at the expense, the cost of rent, and what was going to go into it, and we just maybe we should look at other ways that you don't have to specifically go to this place. Just probably a place where you can. It's easy to find a job. Maybe rent is a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Because most people don't think about that. Oh, I'm going to maybe University of Waterloo, and they forget that it's not just Waterloo, but it's a how should I put it? It's a combination of factors.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex?
What?
Your location, cost of living. Did you ever consider that in your application?
No. I mean, I just wanted to come to Canada. I met
Deal with the rest later.
Yeah.
It seems Alex is the odd one here. He's the odd
and,
one.
and besides,
Yeah.
I mean, I think because my funding covered everything, so I didn't have to worry too
This
much about.
application. So just as a school application, when is the right time to apply for your visa?
The moment you get your acceptance.
Exactly.
The moment
You get congratulations, go apply for your visa.
So what about starting the application earlier before you get an acceptance from any school? Did you ever do that?
You can start the application, but you won't be able to submit anything without
Yeah.
the acceptance. So you can look at what the immigration website looks like, but you need the school's, it's called a DLI, the institution's number.
Designated,
Yeah, designated learning institution number. You need that for your application, so you can't submit it for at least the study permit. If you wanted just to come, then you can apply, but for a study permit, you would need to wait for your acceptance.
Oh. What are some of the documents we need? I think this actually you're gonna find it on the Government of Canada website. All the important documents are listed there. I think they're summarized in the PDF, so you download it and you look at the necessary documents you have to submit. So like at least we could list some of these documents for our viewers. So what are some of the documents that are needed in your visa application?
Your passport.
Yeah,
Obviously.
That's the
Up to
main
date.
one. Up to date, valid passport, your acceptance letter. You'll need proof of funds, whether that is a bank statement or whether you've already paid the tuition. You'll also need, sometimes with these applications, there's additional things that you can add. So within the actual written application, you'll be talking about your accommodations. So if you have someone that you know, proof of relationship, that's someone that's already in Canada, that really helps with your application. But those are the main things. And then like there's your pictures and whatnot, that all goes with it. Pretty standard in terms of what they ask for. Those are the main things. I just think the main part that's going to really make or break your application is the proof of funds. Because you can have everything perfect, but if you can't prove how you're going to pay your tuition, that's going to be to your detriment. So of course we've heard of different situations of how people try to put this information, and just to be frank, I mean, it has to be legit. It has to be something that is truthful, because they do go into investigation to see how these funds are acquired and how you're going to be able to use that money to pay the school. So that's my main thing. I always, tell people that are applying is you can have everything correct, but you have to think about how you're actually going to pay for your schooling.
Alex, you were funded by the school. Did you have to show any proof of funds?
No, my admission letter offer letter was enough, because it stated everything in it with regards to my financial credentials. Okay, so
you just had to upload that letter.
yes,
The letter was enough.
I just stated exactly what was on my funding. Okay, my offer letter. As my funding. And I think there is a school of thought also that says that you should probably also have some kind of personal funds. Okay, so I think I had around 40 Ghana cedis. my friend had I think around 220. So 40. I had 40. I remember I had 40.
Yeah.
The amount that I had in it wasn't the issue. Okay. I think I was withdrawing more often. So that was the reason why I used that. Okay. So maybe you can attach a personal bank statement. If you are funded, okay, just a personal one. Okay. Otherwise, maybe just attach someone's own, of which we know it's really loaded. Okay. So yeah.
And then the money should be in at the time of interview or even in a visa, because I know someone who they use the a person's bank statement, but then I don't know if the
application wasn't over.
And the money we withdrew the money. Yeah, so and those are peculiar situations, but
what about you, Andrew? Did you have to pay your fees?
You had to show proof of funds. Like, you had to attach the bank statements, like along with the application letter and all that. Yeah. Then was it after that we had to pay the fees, or either after or before? I don't remember.
Like at the airport, what goes on there? Because mine was very scary. Like once I got to the airport, I spoke to an immigration officer, and she was like, "Is it your first time in Canada?" I was like, "Yes." Follow the
Different queue for all.
Different queues.
It's not like the Ghana airport where the
Yeah.
man is playing the music.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So serious over here.
Nobody's smiling.
Yeah.
No.
When you get there, like when you enter that room, you in Ghana you only get the visa, what allows you to enter into Canada. But once you get to Canada, that is where you have to fight for your student permit.
Yeah.
So once I got there, it was like, show me your admission letter, your proof of financial, whatever, your proof of tuition, like everything, proof of everything. So,
I think that's an important part. You have to have everything that you had to apply, you have to have it with you as well.
yes.
Because it's two parts. The visa is what allows you to come to Canada, but the study permit is what allows you to enter Canada. And you don't get your study permit until you're at the airport.
Yeah.
So you have to show proof of funds all over again to somebody to see that. How long was it the process for you guys to wait for your visa?
Okay, so it varies. It depends. I think so. When you check the Government of Canada website, there are so many factors that influence the processing time. So they're like, if there are tons of applications on them, it's going to take a longer time for yours to be processed. And in December, a lot of people travel a lot. So when you apply in December, obviously the processing time is going to be
Yeah, mine took also around 6 weeks, but it was about 2 months. Yeah, so that took a while actually. I think I applied in May, then I didn't get it till like July or something. So that took a while.
How about you? Since you're a citizen, how long did it take? Did you ever apply for a visa?
No, I actually never needed a visa because I always had the Canadian passport.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think when I was in Ghana, I came for a visit once. Yeah, but then I think my experience too has also been almost the same like every other Ghanaian. Besides, having to apply for a visa and all that, but because when you come, you are still very much a Ghanaian. You are Canadian on paper, but your experiences and stuff, your accent, they notice you right away. That free her. For those who don't speak to you,
I mean, here the education here is one of an intuitive one. Okay, so you don't just do the so-called babadie. You have to learn with understanding. Okay, so you have to get intuitions, and that's the first time I heard of the word intuition was in Canada. So it's different. It's completely different. Yeah. It's not the same. Okay, so here, the exams are such that you have to make sure you have the comprehension, the full comprehension at least. So at the graduate level, okay. So I don't know about the undergrad level, but yeah.
And how about you, Andrew? Okay, maybe you didn't go to university in Ghana.
Yeah, I came I came straight from high school to here, so that was a bit different.
The way of setting questions was different. Is that what you're saying?
They're a bit similar. Like you have the section A, section B, like the theory and then the practical parts. So there's similarity in that, but over here is more like, as you said, more like.
In Ghana, we had some few people in some of my groups that sometimes they would pay. You had the person who would pay for the printing and all of that, so they wouldn't really participate. That's their job. But then here, everybody has to take part. I don't know for the graduate level, but with what I did at the college, we even had a form that an evaluation where you would actually evaluate each group member. What was and sometimes even before we submit the paper, we would say, okay, Alex did this, Gifty did this. Everybody has to show what they did. It's not a matter of me trying to do the work for you. So it's like if you don't do it, and here too, because most of the time you tend to stand out. We are not a lot of Africans or say Ghanaians. You tend to stand out in your group, so you also sort of have to prove yourself that I know as much as they do. You don't want to be that black sheep. Or that African girl who doesn't want to do anything in the group. Group work is very much involved.
So I guess we've talked about everything. We're not sure. Probably you have any question, like you have a question you want to ask us. We'll leave our emails down at the description box. Please contact us directly. You can also leave a question at the comment section, and in our free times we would answer them for you. Please don't forget to like it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please share it so that others could also benefit from this video. At the end of this conversation, each one of us is going to make kind of like a summary video. Probably we forgot to say some things that were important in the whole application process, and so in the next video, everyone will start from A and benefit from this video. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day.